If you can keep investing $100 a month, which is less than $4 a day, from the day you turn 21 until the day you turn 66, you do that for 45 years, you never change how much money you invest, and you just get an average stock market return, which historically has been 10% a year. That doesn't mean you get 10% growth every year. It means on average, you grow by 10%. You are going to retire a millionaire with your $4 a day investment. The problem is, what happens if you spend your 20s having a good time,
right,
partying, enjoying, trying to figure life out? Then in your 30s, you're trying to figure out your career. You're just like trying to buy a house, get married, do all that stuff. And then your 40s come and you're like, oh, let me start thinking about retirement. Now what? Because if you start investing when you're 45 and you start with that same plan where you invest $100 a month when you're 45, trying to retire by 66, and you can get the same 10% annual return, well, if you start when you're 45, you're not going to have $1 million. You're not going to have $750,000. You're not going to have $500,000. You're not even going to have $250,000. You're going to retire with about $100,000.
Wow.
That's not enough to retire. And so this is where now, if you start investing when you're 21 or younger, great. You know, the numbers show you that, hey, if you just keep compounding small amounts for a long period of time, you can become wealthy, even if you start with just $4 a day. But if you don't start when you're 21, then what? And this is the situation that most people are in, because most of us don't grow up learning about money.
Exactly.
Most of us are not given any sort of financial education. Most of us have no idea what investing is when we graduate. Most of us don't know how to do these things, when to do these things, what to do. And so now if you're watching this and you're 30, you're 40, maybe in your 50s, what do you do? How can you become wealthy? Can you become wealthy? And the first answer is yes, because, well, it's been done. And so, you know, if you don't believe it's possible, just take a look at, I guess, some of the history. Like Vera Wang has started in her 40s, became very successful. The founder of Gap started after he was 40. There's a lot of people that started after the age of 40 and still became very successful. And you can do this even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you don't have the next great business idea. It's just using your money the right way. But the first thing that you have to do, did I say first enough yet, is you have to understand the mindset aspect. Because if you're sitting there telling yourself, it's too late for me, I can't do it, it's too tough for somebody who looks like me, somebody with my background cannot become wealthy, then yes, I guarantee you will not be able to become successful.
Right. Because
if you don't have the right mindset, it is going to be impossible for you to become successful, when in reality, for 90 to 95% of people, if you have the ability to hear what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying, and you are in a first world country, it is not a tool set issue. We think that we're lacking the tool set, we're lacking something that can make us successful, but in reality, it's not the tool set, it's your mindset. And that's the first thing that you have to understand, that if you want to become successful, now regardless of your age, you have to first adopt a growth, successful mindset. Now, what does that mean? It means first, you believe that you can do it. You wholeheartedly believe that you can do it, because what happens is your mindset dictates your actions. Because now if you believe, hey, you know what, I can become successful, what are you going to do next? You're not just going to run around and say, I'm going to become successful. No, you're going to actually start researching. You're going to go to YouTube and you're going to start researching, how do I become successful? You have a bunch of free videos there. And then you're going to start reading books. And if you're like me and you don't like reading, you're going to start using Audible. Start listening to books. I was actually just on, like right now before this, a podcast where the host was asking me similar questions, like where can they start learning? Where can people start learning? Well, obviously start with YouTube, because it's a free resource. It's super accessible. And then second, go on to Audible and just search whatever it is that you want, whether it's money management, investing, starting a business, entrepreneurship, biographies. It does not matter. Pick one of these categories that you want to learn from. Find the top 10, 20, 30 books in terms of ratings. Read all of them. And that is going to be now your MBA for less than a few $100. You just saved $100,000, and you are going to learn even more than your MBA by reading these 30 books. I promise you. And so now this is just, again, whatever it is that you want to learn, whether it's money management, investing, building a business, or something else, find the top books there and go and learn it and read it and then apply it. Because now you have to be willing to fail. Because now when you tell yourself you're going to do it, now you start learning. Then the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to try something and then you're going to lose. You might lose money. You might feel embarrassed, but that's a part of the process.
Right.
Because now, again, it goes back to the mindset. If you believe that you can do it, then the next thing you're going to say is, oh, I screwed up. Let me try again. Let me do something else. Let me see where I messed up. Oh, this is how I messed up. Let me go do something else. Every successful person has gone through this. And every time you screw up, what you're doing is you're finding another way that it didn't work, which pushes you one step closer to finding how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about this openly on YouTube. Like I've talked about my worst real estate deal ever.
Right.
It was a very painful deal, a very stressful deal, and a very expensive deal. But I learned so much during that one real estate deal that it helped me get set up for much bigger and much more profitable deals. But I had to go through a lot of pain. You got to be willing to get punched in the mouth, to get kicked in the throat, as Tom Bilyeu says. I was just on his show recently, so he was talking to me about that, so it's in my mind. But you have to be willing to get literally, like, it's tough. You have to be willing to get hit and then get back up. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.